Hey, what's up? I don't recognize that name at all. Angelos Athan Sapasolola. YouTube is letting me know that it's time to get ready to go live. How's it going? Oh, 5 people watching already. Dang. So I am feeling a little sick today. You are from Discord. Are you Archangel? What's up, ZV? Feels you. I recognize you guys. Yeah. How's everybody doing? I'm gonna just be setting things up, just relaxing until actual time of 1 o'clock. And I set the thing to where it shouldn't have as much lag between you guys talking and me responding. Hamlet. Okay. Sup, Hamlet. Glad you're feeling good, Field you. How have lucid dreams been? Anybody have something cool they want to share in the comments? I got to get some of these banners ready for the stream. I should have gotten them ready earlier, but I can see these a little sooner on my phone, which is weird. Add banner. My arch nemesis. Oh man, I didn't realize that we had like a full-on anime battle in the comments. All right, this is good. This is something to celebrate. Pretty sweet. Congrats, Fieldu. What'd you do in it? Did you do anything awesome? Or was it just kind of, man, why is the sun getting so freaking bright? Like, I am literally in a basement and there's like one window. Scoot over a little bit more. Never had a lucid dream? Okay, so you're not Archangel. Well, hopefully we'll be able to give you flew above your city. That's awesome. Well, did it look a lot like your city does? Like, can you like do the Google view and see if it's really similar? Yeah, Angelos, hopefully either here or on like Dream Cafe or Omni Lucid, and you can get some things you need to learn how to lucid dream. That's kind of what we're all about. And all right. I've had 3 lucid dreams, all which ended like 5 seconds. Okay, yeah, that's pretty normal for a lot of people. My first 3 lucid dreams, I mean, depending on how you count them, all ended that quickly. My 4th one was pretty long. My 12th one was like 30 minutes long. I woke myself up because I was scared. Empty and no humans at all. I mean, that's pretty cool. Was it scary or did it just seem normal? Oh, for me, I've had a lot of lucid dreams. I've been doing this for about 9.5 years. I'll be talking about my experience, and I don't really count lucid dreams anymore. And I feel like it's kind of disingenuous to say a number at this point, just because I don't know where a dream starts and ends. But almost every night, I'm lucid through most of the night right now. It's not always the best lucidity, but it's lucid for quite a while. And near the last half of the night, it's pretty much full lucidity for the most part, not railed, just doing what I choose to do, that kind of thing. Yeah. In my first 2 years of lucid dreaming, I had a little bit over 500 lucid dreams, which I'll be talking about today. And then we'll have any questions you guys have. It's almost 1 o'clock. Before I got lucid, it was a nightmare. I was in bed. I could hear noises from out. Oh, I'll click that. But once I got lucid, I flew away into the sky. That's cool. So I guess that's interesting that you didn't see anything outside, because that's kind of what you would expect if dreams run on expectations. But that's cool that you didn't have a nightmare. Like, you basically stopped it before it got bad. Yeah, it's good. Alrighty, it's 1 o'clock, so let's go ahead and start. I'm just going to be doing like a brief overview of my lucid dreaming for the last 9.5 years. I started on June 12th, 2012. Oh, heck yeah. This, yeah. That 100%. Somebody literally just messaged me yesterday and said that they turned a flashlight into a lightsaber. Yeah, lightsaber battles are doable. I have fought with a lightsaber a couple of times, but never against another person with a lightsaber. Just usually summoning it as a way to attack people for fun, like if they're threatening me or anything. So let me go ahead and put this up here, because I think this is important. Boom. Not a natural. I'm not a natural lucid dreamer. Natural lucid dreamers are people that learned how to lucid dream either without techniques, or they learned to lucid dream before they ever were taught how to do it. So I did not learn about lucid dreaming. I was really interested in my dreams all growing up. Never crossed my mind to lucid dream. I used some dream incubation when I was younger. I was able to get things like fire and telekinesis into my dreams, but I didn't know I was dreaming during them. I just thought that I had those powers. Like, I was able to get the idea of me having those powers into a dream. It was a very slow process that took a couple months every time, but I was like able to get Rasengan, a couple other cool things. Then, so then at age 20, I was working outside, listening to the radio, which was like iHeartRadio. I don't know if you guys have ever used it. It was pretty common back then. But yeah, so I started, somebody basically mentioned that there was a face mask that you could wear, and it would make you realize inside your dream that you're dreaming. And I was like, that's pretty cool. So I got home, I researched it a little bit, and I read a guide, and the guide was just terrible. Just terrible guide. I laid down to take a nap, and during the nap, I had my first lucid dream. It only lasted a few seconds. It was in the construct for the Matrix. And then I woke up from that into another dream. It was just a false awakening. And then when I woke up, I was like, that was really cool. But then I got married like a week later. So since I got married so quickly right after that, I just kind of forgot about lucid dreaming. Then man, I'm just not great at putting those banners at the right time. Then so a year later, my wife was getting ready to go to Mexico for studying abroad. And I had a dream about Mexico. Right now, I am 30. Somebody asked me how old I am in the comments. So, so I had a dream about Mexico, probably because my wife was getting ready to head there. And in the dream, I was like following this girl around, and she took off leaving. Yeah, I know, Mizik, I'm a boomer. I'm so old. At least I'm not 31, eh? You can lower the stream down to where it's only a few seconds, like 4 to 6 seconds, something like that. But I think there's also something between StreamYard and this, so there's like 10 seconds. I also have it on my phone, so I can actually see it pretty fast if I look down there. So if I see something big, like written, then I'll put it there. Yeah, so I was following this girl. She took off running, and we were like trying to date or whatever. It was a weird dream. It seemed like it lasted a couple weeks, but it was really just flurry of movement and ideas and stuff like that. And then I was following her, And I was like, none of this makes any sense. So she took off down this path, and there were two paths in front of me. And I was basically like, this doesn't make any sense. Something's wrong. And I'm like, oh, this must be a dream. So then I saw two paths in front of me. One was to follow her and just to stay non-lucid, basically. I knew that if I went down that path, that was what the decision was. And the other path was just unknown. I had no idea what was down that path. And I decided to go against where the dream had been telling me to go. I was pretty excited. I saw something that looked like infinity. I met the old man, which is my dream guide for the first time. Dream guide not being a spiritual thing, just some dream character that helps me out all the time. And I decided to start learning about lucid dreaming after I woke up. That didn't last very long. Like that whole thing happened in 20 seconds, probably, maybe 30. So then I started researching lucid dreaming, checked to make sure that it wasn't like evil. VYN. I don't know what that means. Sup, Lusitania. So then when my wife was gone, she was leaving for 6 weeks to Mexico. And I spent that entire time, all I had was about 30 to 40 hours of work a week. And so I spent that whole time studying lucid dreaming. Oh, thanks, Lusitania. I'm glad you're enjoying it so far. It doesn't mean anything. I thought maybe I'm just a boomer. But if that's true, then but Mizik would know more about things like that too. Like Mizik is sending code messages and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, she's more in with what children know about online these days. Cause like I'm literally doing this on a Chromebook because it's like the best type of computer I have, which is not even a computer. It's a bot. Oh, I can kick it if it's a bot. I should probably. If they do something again, I'll kick them just because I don't feel like taking the time. So anyways, so 42 days of doing nothing all day, but reading about dreams, looking up dreams and stuff like that. But it took this, we didn't have like Amazon next day delivery. So it took me a long time to get Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming by Stephen LaBerge, and no lucids the entire 6 weeks my wife was gone. And then I got my first lucid on purpose after all those other two in 45 days. It was a little rough to go 6 weeks and 3 days without lucid dreaming, which was like my entire summer. Yeah. Hex yeah. Somebody always says LaBerge, Flameberge, Sup LeBach. So yeah. So then after that, they started coming more frequently. The next one was like 3 weeks. The next one was like 2 weeks, 1 week. And then I started getting about one a week. And within about 6 months, I'd had, I want to say 40 to 50. And yeah, it was a fun time, but I was getting ready to quit because I was really bored. I'd come up with a goal. I'd come up with a goal and I would do it. And it wasn't like, oh, I'd do this like crazy, insane goal. I just kind of like I did a few goals, but nothing extremely big. And my thought process was like, well, if I just do this, I'm not really like, it's not like I can continue it later on and enjoy it for a long period of time. I just do it and then it's done and then I wake up. So contemplating leaving. And then of course I run into Hughes journals, which are on Dream Views. They are amazing. They are all about persistent realms, and they're all about continuing your dreams where you left off and the rules of them. And then I started talking to Hughes, and from like 6 months to a year and a half, I literally would write paragraphs to Hughes every single day, and then he would respond. And let's see, how do you pronounce LaBerge? I pronounce it LaBerge, like LaBerge. 3 months. I don't know what that means. 3 months. I had the same mindset as you I had 3 years ago. Not sure what that means. Lebath. I don't remember how to say your name very well. So, Okay, what's this? This is a good question. Do you think mood affects the ability of lucid dreaming? Yes, I do. But I don't think it's a like positive, negative. Like if you're really, really sad and you're just like, oh, I just want to get home and lucid dream, it could increase your intent to lucid dream. Or you could be like really, really sad and be like, oh, I don't want to do anything. And then, try a technique and just be like too sad to complete it correctly. So I'd say it affects the ability in the same way it would affect your ability with anything else. But I don't think it's going to be like, oh, you're sad, so you're going to have less lucid dreams, or you're, you're happy, so you're going to have more lucid dreams. I think that it's going to depend a lot on you, but I do think it will affect it. I just don't know how much it'll affect it or in exactly what ways. It would be interesting to see a study done on that, but so far I haven't noticed any difference. I've had lucid dreams in very happy times of my life and very sad times of my life, and when I was depressed for a little while. So yeah, hitting my stride. Yeah, just random capitals through these things. All right, Lebach, I'll forget it. I'm sorry. I didn't understand your question. So then talking to Hughes all the time and messaging. Okay. Thanks, Mizik. I'll block them just so that it doesn't happen again. The bot is apparently posting malicious links. Block user. I think that kicks them. Not 100%. All right. So, yeah. So then I would, oh, I didn't even see that question. Oh, it does kick them. Thanks, Lusitania. All right. What are my thoughts on reality shifting or astral projecting? So, yeah, that was actually something I looked up right whenever I started, was the reality shifting. And I actually looked up reality shifting because, so I looked up reality shifting because that actually was a thing 9 years ago. Like I would see ads for it. It just didn't catch on at that time. And it was interesting because I wasn't sure if it was a joke at the time or not. My thoughts are that reality shifting and astral projection are a type of dream, not lucid, because you don't know that you're dreaming. But specifically astral projection and out-of-body experiences, I think that these things seem to happen in a certain stage of sleep. It's almost like you fall asleep, but you don't lose proprioception for a lot of these. And so your mind is using your normal mental idea of what your house is constructed like at the time, and you're able to walk through it. It's an interesting thing. I've had a lot of false awakenings from Wild that have ended up in something that looked like what everyone else calls astral projection. But whenever everyone says it's a new world, it's a new realm, it's this, is this, and then Jason or Vixen or Old Man pops up, I'm like, oh, I'm in Zodra still. This is still in my head. Then I can't really say that it's a whole new thing. I think that astral projection may exist. I just don't think that most of the people that astral project are actually astral projecting. I think a lot of them are just dreaming that they're astral projecting. I've heard some people that have really, really interesting stories that sound believable, and they seem like really logical people. So they might have. It's not something I'm going to like extremely judge on. It may exist, may not exist. I don't think the majority of people that say they have it. Okay. So pretending your recall would be good if you leave it with the amount of energy or something like that. I'm not sure what you're referring to there, Labath. If you want to look it up on Discord and see what exactly I'm referring to, like what I said. It may have been something a few weeks ago that I'm just forgetting. So yeah, then I started getting, after about 6 months, I was getting somewhere between like about six lucid dreams a week. But I was also counting any DILD dialed as an extra lucid. So it's really hard to tell. I know specifically like in the 7th month of lucid dreaming, I had 13 DEILDs in a row in one night. And that was like, so that put my count for that month up to 27. So it's one of those things where it's like, I really have no idea how to count, because I wouldn't count that as anything more than one lucid dream now. But back then I counted as 13. So counting with lucid dreams gets really, really iffy whenever people don't use the same methods of counting. And it's just kind of, I don't know. There's no way in my mind that you can split up the idea of a dream, because in my mind, dreams are just kind of thoughts. They're your thought process that become visual while you're asleep. And sleep and awake, there's not really an exact barrier like we like to pretend there is between asleep and awake. You can be in a dream and hear things from waking life. You can be awake and see things in a dream. So to count something as a dream and say this is a dream and this isn't a dream, it gets really iffy, especially when you start doing lots and lots of wilds and a lot of visualization. Yeah. So that was basically my first couple of years of lucid dreaming. I said before, I got about 500 lucid dreams in my first couple of years. I was trying, I dropped every single hobby that I had. I wasn't spending much time with friends or anything like that, because most of my friends were in college. I was in college. I was also in working. I put a lot of effort and energy into it. The only thing that was really holding me back was the fact that my daughter was the worst sleeper I've ever seen for a child. She was just angry all the time. She didn't smile for like 4 months after she was born. She would just scream for hours on end, even if we were like holding her. And it was a lot of work. And we thought that that's like what babies were like. It wasn't until we had our second kid that we realized that some babies are actually fun and aren't just terrible until they're 18 months. I guess it was really like 9 months, but yeah, anyways. Yeah. So that was fun. And of course I had my first kid 1 year, and 2 days after I started lucid dreaming. And that, if you look at like my lucid dreaming count, it goes up and up and up. And then it just basically stays the exact same for about a year there because of having her. All right. Can you grow out of modern lucid dreaming techniques like wild and dialed after you reach a particularly high level of experience? No, because wild and dialed are not techniques. They are methods. They are ways you enter a lucid dream. You either become lucid inside the dream, or you become lucid, or you stay lucid as you enter consciously into the dream. So you can't grow out of that. That's like saying, can you grow out of like shooting a basketball? Can you grow out of shooting a basketball? Basically, yeah, you can shoot it differently and go with different techniques that people haven't said in the past, but you're still going to be shooting it, or you're going to be dunking it, which is, my general ideas for wild and dialed. So you're always going to be doing wild and dialed. You're just going to learn your own ways around it. I think most people that get really, really good at lucid dreaming, they're going to be going on feeling instead of a technique. That feeling, their own ideas of how they're doing it, is going to be their own technique. So I would say you grow out of it, but it's more like you evolve into doing it your own way. And it's more like, I've said this a few times, but lucid dreaming is kind of like learning how your waking mind and your dreaming mind communicate to each other. So it becomes a dialogue instead of just, this is what I want to do, and I do it because this is what the guide says. Opinion on mild. I have a full video on mild. It's very good. Not the video. Mild is very good. I liked the video a lot. But yeah, if someone wants to link that video, that'd be good. That sounds like something you would relate to sometimes, Mizik. Hopefully not right now. Pretending. My words are delegating specific energy to recall and leaving it at that level, pretending that my recall will be perfect there if I leave it there, and using the rest of the energy for other things. Okay. So that's a lot to explain. That's a lot to explain. I think we're having a specific conversation about energy of intent and stuff like that. I could always work more on recall. I could always dream journal more. I could always delve more. I could always spend more time. I could spend all 16 hours of being awake thinking about dream recall. But I don't, because I only have so much energy. So I chose a specific amount of energy for any given amount of time. And while I'm there, I'm just like, this is the recall that I have for now. This is the amount of recall I'm going to use. And yeah, like right now, every day when I wake up, I'm spending 1 hour thinking about dreams. I don't put headphones in. I don't have anything like that. I just focus on my dreams for the first hour. Like I generally have to get kids food or kids ready and stuff like that, but I'm not like it's a little bit more intensive than my usual recall. So you have to find your own amount of energy that you want to put into recall, and whenever you're there, just leave it there if it's an amount of recall that you think is good enough. And if it's the best you can do, then it's the best you can do. Alrighty. Lusitania's bringing up reality shifting again. I'm going to shift away from that. Yeah. So then I was also not like the best at dream control to start. It took me 70 lucid dreams to find a technique for flying that worked continuously. And that was basically not focusing on flying. It was just focusing on my destination and just moving there. And my dream guide taught me that. Like I didn't even come up with that on my own. So yeah, then let's see, what else was there? Then I really wanted to do a Sword Art Online Persistent Realm. And it took about 4 years to get there, to get to the point where I could do that, maybe 5. Can't remember exactly when I had that. But yeah, like it took me a long time. I spent 150 lucid dreams teleporting every few seconds, just trying to learn how to teleport better, trying to teleport to Sword Art Online, to Aincrad. And I would teleport there and it would be different every time. So it's just, I couldn't get the persistence to stick. And I didn't count Zodra, which is my dream world, until right around, I want to say lucid dream like 800 to 900. I started counting Zodra as a persistent realm, but it's a persistent dream realm. It's very complicated. It makes no sense. Logically, it's all completely broken, but it works for me. But it's great. And then Sword Art Online, I think I had like 2,000 or 3,000 lucid dreams before I even got it up and running. But there was a lot of things that I didn't realize were problems with it whenever I first started trying to make it. It's just, there was a lot of things that I didn't have enough control to create. So, but then I found enough control over time. Like I'm good at dream control now, but I did not used to be. Was not a natural at dream control or lucid dreaming. Yeah. So then, yeah, my lucid dreaming experience after that, I would say I got kind of stuck in a rut a little bit. I got to the point where I have 2 or 3 lucid dreams at night, sometimes up to like 5 or 6, but usually the average was about 3 lucid dreams a night. I started exploring all the other techniques, but I couldn't get past 3 at night. And I think there's a lot to say about being that level. I think that level may be close to the human limit on how highly conscious you can be, unless you are into some super dream yoga stuff, or like the way that I got around it was through grounding and stuff like that throughout the day. But yeah, I'm not trying to talk about like all of my techniques, just what I experienced. So yeah, there was a few years there, I think 3 years, that I was basically getting 3 lucid dreams a day, and then however many wilds I would have throughout the day, because my kids would nap and I would just nap for about an hour, and I would have like a 15-minute wild, 15-minute wild, 15-minute wild, 15-minute wild. And I would do that almost every day. It was a good time. And that was when I was creating Sword Art Online. That was whenever I was, there was a group of people that I was with, and they would ask me to complete dream goals for them. And I would find them in the dream and give them pills for time dilation, pills for, what's the other thing? Stabilization, pills for control. And then I would give it to them. So I had like a lab in my dream house that I would concoct these things. And then I would deliver it to them. And then in their dream, they would pull it out of their pocket and it would say from sensei, and they would take it, and then they wouldn't have any issues with persistence or issues with stabilization. It was pretty fun. It was a good time, actually. Visualization never worked me, so I just lied there for a few minutes trying to focus on my body and give it and it gives me lucid false awakenings. I mean, that's good if you're getting lucid from it. Um, yeah, visualization. Yeah, in my guide, I definitely mentioned, not in the mild guide, one of my secrets was not to focus too much on visualization with mild. It's more about setting intent and remembering through your dream and changing it. It's not. It is visual, but it doesn't have to be the most vivid visualization ever. It can be if you are good at visualization. If it's a tool you have. If it's not a tool you have, you're really just looking back at the past, self-reflecting, thinking about it, changing the way you want it to be, and moving forward. Basically, what's up, Hukif? Glad you can make it for 5 minutes. Now I got to talk about something boring for 5 minutes. Lucid goals. Right now, or just like over the last 12 years, 9 years. My lucid goals right now. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, so a lot of people probably know this, but I've been infiltrating an organization in my persistent realm for the last year. And I'm like a full-on member. I carry out missions. I have a partner. We take care of different things. I'm trying to figure out if I should dismantle the organization. It's very underground, very hard to meet the next person in it. It's very cult-like, and the fact that you can't really know much about what all's going on above your level. You just kind of have to accept it and move on. And I'm trying to figure out a way to topple it. I know they do a lot of immoral things, and so I'm working on trying to fix that in the dream world. And it's been a lot of fun. It's been fun to have missions and have a team and have goals and to just get higher and higher in an organization. Also having to trick them with dream control because I completely lie about what level of dream control I'm at, because if I had all the dream control that I actually have, they wouldn't have let me in the organization at first. They would have recognized me probably. So at first I just had like, I want to say telekinesis, the ability to fly everyone has. What was the first one I used? I think I had like a hammer. Yeah, I had a hammer that I used. That was super powerful. And I could summon it and use it. Eldritch Buddy Cop spy movie. Yes, I need to see that. There's a bunch of buddy cop movies I need to see. I want a buddy cop movie like on Corellia or Coruscant, like lower levels Coruscant. I feel like that'd be wonderful. But yeah, some magic cop spy movie would be wonderful. Something like Zodra. Love it. Yeah, so let's see. What else have I been doing? I've been discovering the dream world. Basically just figuring out how it works, and whenever I find out how something works, it usually seems to stay that way, which is fun. Is it hard to have your first lucid dream? And what else should I do except dream journaling and meditation? I'd say hard is a difficult thing because I'd say it's almost random when you have your first lucid dream because you really don't know what you're aiming for. Like it takes some muscle. It's like using a muscle you've never used before. And so the first time you do some techniques, and at some point it will click and it'll happen. And then you basically just repeat what you did the previous time, and you get better and better at moving that muscle. So it's the first one. Some people have it the first time they try it. Like I said, it took me the first time I did it, and then I had a random one a year later, and then 45 days, and then 3 weeks. So a lot of people will come in and they'll be like, I've been trying for 7 days. And I'm like, literally after I had my first one, it took me 45 days of trying every single day. And that's all I did every day was think about lucid dreaming. And then 3 weeks after that. So it's just, you have to have the time perspective is off for a lot of people. They think they're going to come in and lucid dream the first day, and some do. But it could take a few months. I would say dream journaling and meditation, they're really good things to do, but I wouldn't say that either of them are lucid dreaming techniques. I would stick with something like mild or something like, let's see, like SSILD, SSILD. Those are pretty good for beginners because they're not as, what's the word? They're not based on feelings as much. Like the feelings help and they lead you to the feeling of what you need to do in order to lucid dream. But if you follow the steps like it tells you, it should get you to raising your chance for getting a lucid dream. So I would recommend mild or SSILD for beginners. Meditation is always really good. I think of meditation like a workout, or like basically like yoga for your mind, which is funny because yoga is like a meditation. But anyways, it's something that will help prep your mind for lucid dreaming, make it a lot easier. If you don't reality check or have never reality checked, that's also a really good thing to do near the beginning. I don't think of it as a way to help you get lucid, but it is something that you'll want to do a few times when you first start lucid dreaming, when you're in the dream, to really, really force yourself to realize it's a dream. Because if you get lucid in a dream, or if you think it's, oh, maybe this is a dream, and all your techniques work, and you can't prove that it's a dream, you may just slip back into non-lucidity. So reality checks is like a drill that you should do. And, oh, there's my drink. Reality checks is a drill that most people should do, especially at the beginning. And prospective memory training is another thing that I think can help a lot of people. They don't know how their intent works, so they don't really know how to direct it towards dreams. Man, this light is getting annoying. They don't know how to direct it towards dreams. So prospective memory training basically lays out your intent so you can see how it works on throughout your day-to-day. You can use it. You could use it that way. Also, obviously, wake back to beds, doing your techniques during wake back to beds, during small wake back to beds, during long wake back to beds, changing your wake back to bedtime. That's really, in my mind, like that's where the game starts. What is a good reality check? Oh. That's a hard question, honestly. I don't do reality checks. A lot of people say closed nose is a really good one. I've had it fail, but I also have seasonal allergies a lot of times. I don't have seasonal allergies right now. I actually just have a head cold. But the other one, the thing that I generally recommend doing for most people is grounding themselves. And it doesn't sound like a reality check because it doesn't actually answer the question of, am I dreaming or not? Yeah, I like to just look at my hands and like take a deep breath, like calm myself and just stay like in the moment. And whenever I do that, it becomes very obvious that it's a dream or not. Other people say to count your fingers, but often I have 10 fingers in a dream. Other people say to push your finger through your hand, through your palm. I've done that in a dream, but I've also had it not work in a dream. I think placebos are worth trying. I'm not 100% sure. So I know what a placebo is, but I'm not 100% sure that it counts as a placebo in the way that we're talking about. Like binaural beats, that if people try that and they think it's going to give them a lucid dream, that would be a placebo in my mind. But there's other things that I do that help me set my intent for lucid dreaming. And it's basically a placebo. It's like a terrible perspective that doesn't make sense that I tell myself that helps. Like when I started lucid dreaming, I would look at the moon, which, hey, look, I like the moon. I'd look at the moon and I would stare at it and I would say, like, man, I feel like looking at the moon makes it, I feel like looking at the moon makes it to where I have a higher chance of lucid dreaming. And I know that makes no sense. I know that there's no special moon beams coming into me. I'm not going to turn into, oh my gosh, I forgot his name. I forgot the name of the guy in Dragon Ball. Ozaru, I think. Not going to turn into that by staring at that. But it was something that helped me focus my intent. And it's something that even just giving it a fake perspective, right? Like something like, oh, looking at the moon increases the chance of lucid dreaming. It actually did increase the chances of lucid dreaming. It will work if you know it's a placebo. It will work. So you're saying a placebo doesn't have to mean that it's no, Goku turns into the great ape. Ozaru? I can't remember the name 100%. It's been a while since I watched Dragon Ball. My mind is thinking of like Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and whenever Vegeta's like, I'll just turn into the mighty Ozaru. Where's the moon? And he's like, guys, where's the moon? And he starts getting super angry because they destroyed the moon. So I think that's the name. Anyways, can I explain my time dilation place and as long as you stay there? I don't have one place for time dilation. Usually what I do is I find a place that I cannot wake up from. I go there and I stay there and just hang out, do a lot of things. One time it was a spaceship. Other times it's been the mall. There's certain places in the mall that I can't wake up from. It's usually like as I'm entering it, I can tell it's a place that I don't have the ability to wake up from. And I can search them out. But yeah, it's not like I don't have one place that I keep going back to with time dilation. I don't really want a time dilated persistent realm. That doesn't sound like something I want. I like my persistent realms. I like spending normal amount of time in them. I did want Sword Art Online to be time dilated or unable to wake from, but I could never get it to work. I might be able to do that now, actually, if I tried it again with more control. But yeah. Longest I stayed there, that's hard to say because time is always mushy there. It's like usually the longest I stay anywhere is 2 weeks. And even with that, it's not like it's 2 weeks. It's like I'll spend like a 3 or 4 hour day and then it'll be nighttime. And then whenever I go to my room, I'll literally just like, it'll just be like bing and it's daytime without me even laying down in the bed. And so it's like 2 weeks, but I mean, it's like 3 or 4 hour days. And then it's like, well, I did the same thing throughout most of those days. So is it just a memory? It felt like I was living it minute to minute, but it didn't so it's hard. Do I intend to do TD or did it just happen? And you have some kind of feeling that tells you you can TD. So it used to just happen randomly. But I do it. I've done it intentionally like 15 times. I don't do it intentionally very often because I like spending time here. But yeah, it took me, I think it was last year was the first time I did it intentionally. So 9 years, 8.5 to 9 years of lucid dreaming to be able to do it intentionally. I tried a lot of different ways. And that was the way that worked. How can I do mild? I have a video. I could probably link it right now, but I'm not gonna. If somebody else wants to link it, why don't you TD in a PR? Man, we're just throwing out. We're just throwing out all the acronyms today. Why don't I time dilate in Zodra? So I've tried that. The only way that I've found to consistently time dilate is to go to a place. To go to a place that time is already dilated, or not even time dilated. It's basically like I can't wake up because sitting there and thinking, oh, hey, I'm going to change time. My mind's like, time? How much time have you been in here? Oh, we should wake you up. And it's like, it's this weird thing that happened because I think it's because my main way of staying in a dream is to just not worry about time. And so when I start worrying about time, I wake myself up on accident. And so I create places that I can't wake up because that doesn't have anything to do with time, even if it does. And most of the times that I've time dilated have been bubbles inside of Zodra. I have not explained bubbles in depth to people. What do you think about the mostly heated square circle argument for the limitations of dreams and dream control? Lusitania, why are you always like that, stoking the fires? Yeah, so I think you can have a dream where you see a circular square, but it's going to be a dream that you think that happens. Like you can deceive yourself into thinking that, oh man, that was bright as heck. It's like dream control right there. You can deceive yourself into thinking that you saw a circular square, but I don't think you can break logic in a dream. You can deceive yourself into thinking that it's. You can deceive yourself into thinking that you've broken it, though, and then when you wake up, it won't really add up. Even if you're very, very like lucid, living in the moment, all this stuff. You could like dreams are in my mind are like the masters of deception of your perceptions. So you can logically deceive yourself. There's a lot of things inside of Zodra even that are like, they're just these like things that stick out as like, hey, all of your stories and stuff like that don't make any sense because of this one tiny thing. And I'm like, I'm just going to ignore that. Like, no, Zodra's persistent. So you get better at deceiving yourself. In my mind, that's like what dream control is. The ironic part of time dilation is that by the time you're skilled enough to do it, you typically have gotten your life into a good place just from incidental LD benefits. Yes. Yeah. Like, so yeah, when I started lucid dreaming, I spent I would go to bed. I would wake up in the morning, work for 8 hours, go to school for 8 hours, go home, go to bed, and maybe like stay up an hour with Laura. And so I was like, oh man, if I could just time dilate and just like relax during the night, that'd be so wonderful. And then by the time I got to the point where I could time dilate, it's like I'm a stay-at-home dad. I spend my days with my kids and my wife, and I've got friends and family and stuff like that. It's like I don't want to spend like 3 weeks away from all of them. I have so much fun here. Yeah. Once you have TD down, it's just like, I just want to enjoy both lives. Cool. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm having a great time. It did take me a long time to get time dilation down. And I think it's partly because of I don't want to say conflicting schema, because I always tell people that, if you have a schema, just activate it or don't activate it the way you want. Man, I'm sorry. In my mind, that looks really cool, but it probably just looks super blurry. But basically, I use a certain schema to ignore all stabilization ideas and stuff like that. And in order to try to lengthen the time in the dream, it activates that schema incorrectly. And it's just, so instead of tampering with it, I had to think of a way around it. Lebach, I don't see the link at all, but maybe if you posted it in Omni Lucid or Dream Cafe. Schema issues. I know, right? And I'm the one who always says to just like face schema issues head on. There's no such thing as negative schema. But it's true, because it's a thing that I use. It's just like a tool, but it's hard to use one tool and ignore the tool at the same time. Journal. Oh, I'm starting to lack motivation to journal in the mornings. Do you know any ways to help get it back? Yeah, give me a second. How long have you been dream journaling? Is going to be one question, and I'll start talking a little bit. One thing is, there's two things. One is motivation, which in my mind, like, they're motivation and enthusiasm. They're pretty different, but I think people usually use enthusiasm to mean motivation. But enthusiasm kind of comes and goes. And motivation is like your reason for doing something. And if you don't have like a good reason for doing something, the enthusiasm will generally just be gone. Any way to gain motivation. Mizik, do you want to type something for that as well? You seem like you have something you want to say there, which I think would be interesting. So I think a big deal is to figure out why you want to lucid dream. And most people want to lucid dream for fun. Mizik just posted this. Most people want to lucid dream for fun. So if you're like, oh, this is going to be so great, we're going to just have a lot of fun. Also, if you could just take notes for 30 minutes every single morning and not have any success for 3 months, then it's like, yeah, no wonder you're running out of enthusiasm. Like, that's rough. That's a lot of work. Yeah, it is a common question. That's okay. Common questions are fine. That's a lot of work. Like, what's that? 30. So 30, like if you're dream journaling for 30 minutes a day for 3 months, that's 45 hours, right? So you're saying like 45 hours. And if you haven't had a lucid dream yet, you're saying like you've put in 45 hours of work and gotten zero benefits, except for increasing your dreams. Now, the best way in my mind is to actually be the best way in my mind is to just be actually entertained by your dreams. Like, I say this a lot, but if the game, if lucid dreaming is scoring, then the game is dreaming. And most people suck at the game. So whenever you're focused solely on this one aspect of the game, and it's difficult for you, it's better to focus on other parts of the game and build up to that if it's something difficult. So like with basketball, say shooting the basketball and getting it in is scoring. And if you really, really struggle with it, it's like, yeah, you could spend hours and hours and hours shooting a day. But if you spend hours and hours shooting and you still suck at shooting, which I do, I've tried that many times. I suck at shooting. Then it's going to be like, it's going to cut your motivation down. So instead of shooting, you focus on the things that you are good at. And you focus on things that are enjoyable for you with the game. Like I hate shooting, but I love playing basketball. So I play basketball 3 times a week. I go shooting once or twice a week. Now, that's not to say that that's how you should approach lucid dreaming. If lucid dreaming is what you want, then it's going to be hard to balance your motivation and failure at the same time. And I hate to say the word failure, but yeah, focusing on your dreams, though, like actually being interested in your dreams. And a lot of people say that. They say the reason they want to lucid dream is because they want to explore their dreams. But then they also hate dream journaling, which is confusing to me because that's exploring your dreams. So I would say try to enjoy your dreams. If you don't enjoy your dreams, it could be really difficult for you in the long run because you'll have weeks or months without lucid dreams. That happens to a lot of people. I've gone months without lucid dreams before in the past whenever I got sick of dream journaling. Like I don't dream journal right now. I got sick of it. Actually, after 6 months, I think I stopped dream journaling. I just started writing about a few words per dream. Later on, I added it to where it was a few paragraphs per dream or a paragraph per dream. And recently, I've just cut it all together out. I don't dream journal. Discord's dead. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, so basically, you can see it like that, or you can just basically be like, well, I know it helps, and I'm okay with not having any enthusiasm and just doing it anyways. I mean, that's what, like, discipline comes in whenever something's not fun anymore. And if it's something you really, really want to do, then do it anyways. If it's not something you really, really want to do, then, you can stop. There are other things that help dream recall. If dream journaling is the only thing you're doing for dream recall, then I would really recommend looking at other things and taking all the pressure off of dream journal. Skyfall has a guide for it. Oreo has a guide for dream recall. They're pretty good guides. Dream recall ritual, if you look that up on Omni Lucid or Dream Cafe, they're both there. Skyfall's guide is everywhere for dream recall. There's a lot of stuff. Or, of course, you can read Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming by Stephen LaBerge. He has a lot of stuff on dream recall. I also did a stream 2 weeks ago on dream recall. Dream journal is probably the most simple way to get dream recall. But it also takes a lot of energy. So it's not something you might not want to do that all the time forever, 30 minutes every single morning. I think it's about hanging onto itself despite not journaling. Let's see. Oh, so you're not even journaling. Yeah. So I mean, it's the same thing. Delving is just thinking about your dreams. I gotta stretch my legs out. Hold up. Sitting on the ground here is killing me. Delving is just thinking about your dreams, organizing your thoughts, and pulling up your dreams. Dream journal is doing it in a little bit more organized way, and it's also a way to make sure every day that you actually did it. There you go. I also find dream journal super helpful for keeping track of progress. And that's one of the things that most people don't use it for. Like, they just kind of like write down their dreams. So I wrote a whole thread on how to effectively dream journal. It's basically, instead of just writing down your dreams mindlessly, here's a way to use your dream journal to figure out how to lucid dream, how to recall your dreams better, how to do what you want in a dream, and how well it's working. So that's one thing that should help, is dream journaling in a more effective way and getting more from it. Sorry, I'm moving you guys around a lot. My legs are killing me. But yeah, the effective journal was what I started actually whenever I first started lucid dreaming. It was like, my mind was like, well, I want to see how good I'm doing. So I just wrote out this whole thing, wrote down my dream goals, how to get them and all that stuff, what technique I was doing every single day, what day of the week I would get lucid, how I would put graphs and stuff like that to figure out exactly how my lucid dreaming was going. And yeah, that seemed to help a lot. A lot of enthusiasm can be really marked by not having the right perception. So if, for instance, like, let's say that I'm lucid dreaming 4 times and then I go 4 weeks without a lucid dream. Now you can look at that as 4 weeks without a lucid dream, or you can look at that as 1 lucid dream a week. And so it's hard to exactly point out, like, there's not really a technical difference between 4 lucids and 4 lucids in a row and then 4 weeks of no recall versus 1 lucid dream every single week. But one will feel better when you're looking at it and you say, oh, I have about 1 lucid dream a week, versus saying I haven't had a lucid dream in 4 weeks. So your perspective is going to change how you feel about it. It's going to change your heart. Let's see. And so to finish this, yeah, I think I need a way to improve my lucid dreams, not just recall. I guess it's true that better recall is good for lucid dreams. Yeah, I'd say better recall is good for lucid dreams, but that's one of the many ways to improve upon lucid dreams. There's a lot of things, and I wouldn't even say, like, I would say that there's 3 different types of recall. So, but most of those are fixed by the exact same thing. I'll go into that at some point whenever I have a more solid idea of this. At the moment, I don't have anything major to say about them, except I think that they exist. Improvement process. Yeah, right. Yeah. It's a process. It's its own skill. Lucid dreaming is not like entering in a cheat code that makes it to where you get lucid at night. Lucid dreaming is a skill that you learn over time. And it's not just a specific skill, because I'd say I wrote it down a while ago. I think I wrote down 12 separate things that all can affect lucid dreaming and make you better at lucid dreaming. And you don't even need all of them, but just some of them can affect others. And when I talk to different people that have been lucid dreaming for a long time, most of them had very high levels of 9 or 10 of them. Doing something in lucid dream feel like doing something in real life. In real life. This is why I actually say in waking life, is because dreams are real too. They're real dreams. But yeah, it can feel like doing something in waking life, but it can also not. You could do the exact same thing in a lucid dream and get a million different results. So like, that's one of the cool things about lucid dreaming is, you could go to your bedroom and open up like your cabinet and there's just like a freezer in there of wonderful foods. Or you could open up that cabinet and there is just like a bunch of narcotics, which everyone's like, drugs in a dream. Yeah, but it's a dream. You don't have negative side effects. Do them. They're fun. Do drugs in a dream. Don't do them in real life. You could open it up. So like, you could literally do the same thing and something amazing could happen every single time. Also, if you're on a diet or if you're trying to cut something out, like cigarettes or something like that, it's not to eat at night, especially if you're doing something like I'm doing right now, which is just counting calories. So I'm not like trying to cut all food away from myself. I'm just trying to eat less. So then I just have dreams at night where I can just, eat a little bit more if that's actually what I want to do. What's up? I'm a beginner and I'm asking, what is your lucid dreaming technique? My lucid dreaming technique is to practice. No, I'm just kidding. But no, my lucid dreaming technique would be to increase your recall and work really hard on a specific technique for a couple of months before worrying too much about it. But what I do right now is very different from that because I've got a lot of time and effort put into it and I've gained a lot of skills. So my technique is a lot harder to explain because it's not the same later down the road. If you want to see a really good technique, I would recommend my mild guide. I need to change the name of that video to showing that it's about mild. But it's a video I made about mild, and it's Stephen LeBurge's mild technique. Yeah. I try to send a picture. It says explicit content. My face is apparently explicit. It is as vivid and it can be. I mean, you could literally, you can. What I do a lot of times in dreams. This is going to just sound weird as it's vivid. It's just an easy way to explain the vividness. Is I'll do a Google image search of something I want to see, right? And I'll just be like, oh hey, Green Hills or something like that. And sometimes some of the pictures are really blurry and some of them look really good. And that's just how every dream can be, is like some of the time it can look really vivid and some of the time it's not. Now I can use dream control because right from there I can pick which one I want to go to. I use it as a teleportation method. And so I click it and I teleport to the one that I want to go to, which is really fun because then you have like 50 different options instead of being like, oh, I want to teleport to a green place, close my eyes and hoping I get to a good one. I get to just pick from a list. Yeah, as vivid and as real as being here at this moment. Yeah, and that's a lot of people use vivid to mean like, is it like present? Is it happening now? Yes, this is what, like I could have a lucid dream that feels exactly like this. Most of my lucid dreams feel like waking life, except for they don't feel like waking life because they're dreams. But the vividness, as most people would call it, feels about the same. Jesse, we need to cook meth. Jesse, dreaming bad. Nice. That's going to be a new show. And like the intros are going to be super long, like insane dream things, you know, like, because you know how like the intros are like 5 minutes of people like not talking and like preparing like a shipment or something like that. But instead it's like 5 minutes of just insane dreaming stuff, but like nobody talking and just insane. It would be beautiful. My last lucid was spent climbing stairs up to the 6th floor. And by the time I was up, I was panting and sweating, and it was as real as any physical exhaustion in real life. That's hilarious. Yeah, it can be like that. You don't need to. That's also something I love doing, is I don't have extra stamina, I don't have extra strength, and I don't have extra agility or anything like that in most of my lucid dreams, because I find it's more fun to just be able to use my body and items and stuff like that. So I got a lot of magical items and stuff that I use. Now it is different with the witches because there's a certain level of strength everybody has, there's a certain level of telekinesis and ability to fly that everybody uses. It's like the general how everybody moves that knows it's a dream. So for those, I definitely do increase my strength and stamina a little bit, because it'd be really weird if I was playing with a bunch of dream characters and I'm getting out of breath and none of them are. Yeah, lucid dreams are pretty fun. I'm a pretty big fan of them. I've definitely chilled out a little bit in the last couple of years compared to where I was a few years ago. A few years ago, it was like just every night, so many different techniques and things like that I try every night, and I would try to make sure I get all of these dream goals, all of this. And right now I'm a lot more chill. I still enjoy dream goals. I still enjoy my dreams, but it's not like I don't have the fire that I used to have for being like, I need to get all of this. I've just been, I don't want to say I'm like resting either. But it's probably just a healthier pace of learning lucid dreaming. It's up to you. I would really, really recommend you read the book Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming by Stephen LaBerge. And I would also really recommend, starting out with some mild while you're doing that. And if you change your mind, we've got people in the Discord that can help you. I think a lot of people don't understand a few things about mild. One is that you're going to get better at it with time. You're not going to do it perfectly the first time you do it. You're going to mess it up, and you're going to just like, your mindset's not going to be correct. You'll be too tired. You'll be too awake and not be able to get back to sleep and stuff like that. And this isn't a failing of the technique. This is a failing of you not having the skills you need yet. Whereas mild, one of the reasons I love mild, one of the big reasons I love mild, is because it really increases the skills needed for lucid dreaming. Waking up during the night and doing a technique and practicing some recall, going back to bed, and like visualizing a little bit, intention a little bit, like just all of these things work so well to getting you more connected to your dreams in a very solid and substantial way. So that's one of the reasons why I love mild, is because if you do mild every single day for a year and you get 0 lucids from it, you're still getting better at lucid dreaming. That shouldn't happen. Like it probably shouldn't take a year. Glad to hear it, Lusitania. No, Mizik. No, I'm not old. I'm young. I'm a young man still, I promise. That is actually something weird. Is I was outside of like I wasn't working in a church for about a year and a half, and that was when I turned 30, and I started feeling like a bit older. Just like in general, like just general turning 30 stuff. I was like, oh man, I'm getting old. Like I'm an adult male now, and I go back to a church, and like everyone's like, wow, man, yeah, we have these young up and coming people like Brandon, well, sensei, and I'm like, I don't feel young. I have 3 kids. I'm a tired old man. Yeah, 72 now. 29 to 72 is it's very hard 29. You guys know COVID took the most out of all of us. Thinking about getting a physical copy of E2 World. Yeah, do it. Yeah, my first physical copy of E2 World, I read that book. I don't know how many times, probably 30 times. I went through it so many times. Just whenever I was bored, I couldn't find any good guides on dream views or anything like that. I would just read through it and enjoy the book again. Not practiced for a bit because my recall is bad. I've just been focusing on that. That's not a bad idea. I never only focused on recall, which is a weird way to say words in a sentence. But yeah, I always worked on recall with something else, but I definitely see the merit for it. It's just it's a different way of approaching things. You can only, in my mind, you should only do as much work on dreams as you have the energy for. And I mean, if that's the best you can do at this point, then do it. Or if you're like, you know what, I have like 100 tokens of enthusiasm and I'm going to put all of them into recall. It's like, yeah, crush recall. Or if you're like, man, I only have 10 tokens of like skill or 10 tokens of like energy that I could even put towards anything every day. It's like, we'll just do it and get better every day. Let's see. Click here. Is it worth it to buy ET World? I mean, I bought it. It's probably the only money I've spent on lucid dreaming, and I found it was really worth it. There's a PDF online you can get, but I like supporting LaBerge, so not a bad idea to buy it. Once I get at least 1 or 2 dreams a night, I'll do mild again. Sounds good. Can you find these information more quickly and easier? I don't think there's a quicker and easier way to get all of the information needed as a foundation other than exploring the world of lucid dreaming. After that, you should have a better basis on what techniques work and how things work or how we think things work. Like if I could get every beginner to just read Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming, I would, but reading an entire book is really hard for people. So maybe start with the first 3 chapters. Those are really good chapters. They talk a lot about just the foundations. And after that, decide whether or not you're going to be into this whole lucid dreaming thing. Obviously, I recommend reading the whole book. Why are you like this, Lusitania? I'm not going to say it. I already pogged. Went poggers. I don't know exactly how to form a sentence with that in it. I just used to people saying poggers. I already did that for you. Maybe next stream I'll say that for you. My stasis technique. Oh, let me think. There's been 2, but one of them seemed like he was like beyond it. It was like for him, it was almost like he wasn't like connected to the world enough that it affected him. He was like extra dimensional, which I don't have anything to combat extra dimensional. And another person did a barrier type thing inside of it that took away even more abilities. And then we fought inside of that. Yeah, first 3 chapters and skip around to stuff that interests you. Yeah, the first time I read it, I skipped the entire chapters on Wild. It didn't interest me. It seemed weird, and I wasn't sure if it was astral projection or anything like that, and I didn't want sleep paralysis. So it's not a bad idea. Obviously, I went back and read it all later. Aider, my dream recalls 5 to 6 full-fledged dreams that take an hour to write down, or basically nothing. Or nothing? That's interesting. Do you have a consistent sleep schedule? It's possible that that's it, or it's possible that there's a certain time that when you wake up, you just have less connection to that dream recall, and you're really good at pulling up the dreams if you have a little bit. But if you don't have a little bit, there's nothing for you to latch onto. You can, if you don't have a single connection, that can be hard. It can be hard to pull up a dream. Let's see. Have you ever had sleep paralysis? And if yes, how was it? I had sleep paralysis 3 times. First time was within 3 months of starting lucid dreaming, and a voice talked to me and basically said some evil things. I woke up laughing because I thought it was hilarious because it was everything I'd heard about sleep paralysis. But it's just, I don't know. It's like, to me, it was like watching a scary movie that I'd heard about. So I thought it was funny. And after that, I wasn't scared of sleep paralysis anymore. Second time was super stressful time in my life. And the third time was on purpose. Outside, I woke myself up from a lucid dream. And while I was doing it, I felt like there was another door other than just waking up. And so I decided to try and see what that was. And I basically went up and down with waking and sleeping until I woke up inside of sleep paralysis. And then I went back to sleep into a lucid dream. Okay. On the page to buy it, there seems to be 2 versions. Does your version have a blue or black cover? Blue cover. Thank you, Mizik. I have actually been like wondering about that. Like I've seen a lot of streamers say that. Yeah, my son is in the room with me. So I do appreciate that. Has 24 crazy vivid lucid dreams. My brain, I bet you don't even feel anything. What's the point? That's actually, in my mind, there's like a normal that's like a normal feeling. Like there would be times where I would be like I'd have like 2 or 3 days of like non-lucidity, and I'd be like, you're fooling yourself into thinking that you're having any lucid dreams. You suck as a lucid dreamer. This is this. I'm like, what is happening? Like my mind is just like beating me up. It's so weird. And I'm literally like, at that point I'd had like hundreds or even thousands of lucid dreams. And part of me was like, no, you can't do it. You suck at it. You're not even good. I'm like, what is that? Like, why are you like this, brain? All right. I'll fulfill Lusitania's request. All right. What exactly was it? What was the words? I gotta scroll up to find it. Let's see, hide that. There it is. Maybe. My gosh, I just suck at looking for things apparently. All right. I hope I pronounced this right because I don't know if I've ever said this out loud. All right. Sussy Baka the LaBerge. There you go. I put ET World on my birthday list because 8th graders don't make money. You don't have a whatchamacallit? I can't remember the words. Things you get for, oh my gosh, what is it called? My brain is fried. Thing that you get like weekly or bi-weekly or monthly to spend money. Allowance, that's the word. You don't have an allowance? Because I mean, usually it's like less than $10 for ET World. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it so much. You guys, you're all welcome. Waking up when trying to control. Usually try to fix the blur and wishing not to wake up. Yeah, that's trying to fix the blur. Yeah, that's a very, I'd say it's a common thing. In fact, one of the people that taught me, I don't know, Lusitania missed it. Some of the people, one of the people that taught me basically said that in his mind, doing things outside of the dream world will, like outside of the rules of the dream world, will break the dream. That's a common thing that people feel. Hughes says here, try faking it. That works for me. Yeah, just like Just pretend it works or pretend it didn't work or pretend that the blur didn't happen. A lot of times focusing on the thing itself and just like trying really hard to fight it is like trying to fight a nightmare, right? It's like, it's the whole pink elephant thing, right? If I say, don't think of a pink elephant, your mind is like, don't think of the pink elephant. And you're thinking of a pink elephant. So you have this idea. It's like, instead of, you have two options. One is to think that the pink elephant doesn't matter. Or two is to try really hard to think of the pink elephant and just like focus on it, spend time thinking about it. It's like, oh, hey, look, there's a pink elephant. It's okay. It's okay that it's blurry. Blurry doesn't mean that the dream's going to end. In your mind, those two are connected. But look at the blur. And if the dream's going to end because you looked at the blur, then end the dream. Like I've told a few people this. I find it really interesting. People will say, I really struggle to lucid dream. I really struggle to stay stable inside the dream. And so I say, why don't you wake yourself up? And they're like, because I don't want to wake up. It's like, well, just wake yourself up and then put yourself back to sleep. And I've heard a couple people say they tried to wake themselves up and failed. And then they just, after that, they're like, oh, wow, like there's no reason for these things to wake me up. Yeah, Mizik says this right here. You don't actually need sight or anything. Just keep doing your thing and enjoy the lucid regardless. Right. Yeah, who cares if there's something blurry? I've had some lucid dreams where I was completely blind walking around. It's fun stuff. Like, it's a new experience. Why is it hard to see a thing in my dreams? It seems like getting lucid put me in this kind of void instead of actual dreamscape. Oh, void dreams are common. They're usually like, I usually have fun in voids. You can either try to stay in the void or just see what happens. Usually whenever I get in the void, it kicks me out. Like something will happen. It's almost like staying in the void is impossible for me. So I'll be in the void and then all of a sudden I'm looking face to face with somebody, or I'll be in the void and then all of a sudden there's like a screen in front of me. Yeah, just was past a horse wearing, I don't know what that means. I'm glad you recorded it, Phil Jew. Let's see. It says, I can't see anything in every dream though. I have these giant eye floaters. Everything has this vignette. Okay, so whenever I had that issue, somebody told me just to take my eyes out because you're not really using your eyes. Like, there's this weird idea that we have that like there's like that we're using, like that there's light coming into our eyes and that's what's showing the dream world to us. That's not happening inside of dreams. There's no light in dreams. This is just all in your head. So take your eyes out. Realize that you're not seeing with your eyes. You don't even need them. Or switch to third person, something like that. There's a lot of fun things you can do to ignore things like eye floaters. Spooky monsters in the void? Really? That's crazy. I pretty much always I always meet somebody really interesting in the void. Like sometimes I've only met the people like one time, but other times I've met somebody and then they become like a persistent character. Like one guy taught me energy control, like a higher level of energy control. Right after, like I got kicked out of the void because of him. Another time I met an ageless there. Why are you in my landscape? Don't know what that means. Fake being in a misty place and just walk away from the mist should fix problems until Jason finds you. Yeah. Take eyes out, buff them with a cloth, put them back, pop them back in. That just reminds me of the guy in Pirates of the Caribbean. But yeah, like there's these weird solutions. Like that's what you're going to get from most lucid dreamers is like this weird thing that makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. Like a lot of people are like, oh, if it's blurry, take your glasses off or put your glasses on. It's like, that doesn't make any sense. There's no light. It's like, well, it doesn't matter. It just has to make a tiny bit of logical sense from some perspective, and you just ignore all the other perspectives, and it works. Let's see. I've been in a void once and felt some water on my hand, and that was it. Usually when I'm in a void, I'm just like floating there, and I can't see my body, but I can feel it. But one time I was in a void, and I started feeling like I was going to wake up. And at the time, I would rub my hands together to stabilize. And so I tried to rub my hands together, but they couldn't find each other. Like they didn't exist in the same place. What's the most exciting thing that you did in a lucid dream? Man, I'm not sure if anybody in chat knows what the most exciting thing I've done in a lucid dream is. Does anybody want to enlighten him? Let me put it as a banner real fast. Create banner. There we go. Right there. Yeah, so that was it. Yeah, most exciting things. I don't know. I've done a lot of exciting things. I mentioned before doing looking for experiences. I used to just like I tried a bunch of like substances inside of dreams. They're not ones that even exist in real life. There are people that are like, oh, it's the dream water. You drink this and you'll feel something crazy. Or one time, like there was this huge jellyfish, and whenever you touch the tentacle, you have like an ethereal experience. Another time, I was meditating, and I had like white light type experience. It sounds a lot like the pure light dreams that people talk about. Things like that are really fun. Just things that don't technically involve your body, like which is the opposite of what Mizik is saying here. But yeah, like a lot of the fun things are whenever you just forget your body and just have an experience that's not bounded by 3 dimensions. So I think that's pretty fun. It says here, are usually white for me, and I'm usually dark. I also fly, but like hover over water. So your void is like white with water? That is interesting. I wouldn't call that a void, but I would say it's really interesting. And like void, like that's cool. I like it. Oh, your mom is still there. I actually saw a phone charger become the red Amogus in a dream a few months ago. Nice. I think most time I was in the void is like lying in my bed and thinking about this dreaming, like seeing nothing because I have my eyes closed, but just knowing I'm in my bed. Yeah, then you definitely heard 100% incorrectly on all places. It does and it does not. It feels fine or great or better, and it doesn't wake you up. So yeah, like Hughes says, you heard wrong. Yeah, another cool thing. Let's see. I need to talk about that. Yeah, I think I'm going to close it here. I've gone a little longer than I usually go, but it's been fun. Does anybody else have any questions? I'll wait like 30 seconds, then I'll head out. Don't say anything weird. No. Why don't you have headphones, man? I got like 2 pairs of headphones just chilling like right here. Always have headphones on me. When I end a dream, usually I can like move, but like in a dream makes almost go back to it, but I wake up every time. Man, I don't know what that means. Are you talking about it like a dream chain? Like DILD? Usually like I can move, but like a dream. I'm not sure what that means. Do you think you can feel sensations in dreams that you have never experienced in real life? Yes, of course. Now to say that like if I've never smoked weed, right? So like if I go and I smoke weed in a dream, I will feel a sensation, and it'll probably be a sensation I've never felt before. But I can't promise that it's going to feel like smoking weed would feel, because I could smoke weed 100 times in a dream and feel a different new sensation that's not like weed every single time. Or it might magically just actually hit exactly what smoking weed feels like, even though of course there's a lot of different feelings that can come from different weeds and stuff, and depending on the person. Like a hypnagogic thing, but in reverse. Hypnopompic imagery. Yeah. Mizik said it right there. Hypnopompic is after you wake up. One time, right at the beginning of lucid dreaming, oh my gosh, this sun is killing me. I'm like backing up. I woke up and I was in a room. I had a false awakening, and there was someone in my room, not like scary, just like someone in my room. And I was talking to them, and then I woke up. And then after I woke up, I still felt like there was someone in the room with me, not in a scary way, but I felt it for a long time after that. It was weird. Good day, Void. This is hard. These are a lot of like really beginner questions that's really hard to like give the exact answer. It's like it can look exactly like IRL, but it doesn't have to. And depending on your level of dream control and what you want, will change, of course. Like if I summon someone from Waking Life, they look exactly the same. But I've done it a bunch of times. It's the same thing for this. You did used to take LSD. If I did in a dream, would it feel exactly? Yes, it can. It can, but it may not. Like it depends on your level of dream control. Sensei has the Iron Fist. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know what sound effect that makes. I didn't watch Iron Fist. I'm sorry. I just did like the, what is that called? The Nolan world sound or whatever it is. It's like the really loud train music that he does in Inception. Times are funny. It's already dark in my place. You're complaining about sun. Yeah, it's 2:20 p.m. right now for me. I've also never played Team Fortress 2. I'm sorry, you guys. I was off of video games for quite a few years there, working really hard on lucid dreaming and also on college and stuff like that. And being a stay-at-home parent and stuff is always really hard to play a lot of video games. And now I'm playing more than I have in the past for a long time just because life has settled down. All right, I'm going to head out. It's been fun. Glad some of you guys seem to have fun. But yeah, this will still be on my channel if you guys want to re-listen to it. I know Lusitania is probably going to want to see me saying the thing. I'm not going to say it again. But I'll talk to you guys later. I'm going to try to do this every Tuesday. So catch me next week, and I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Is it over?
Yeah, it's over.